Well, here we go. My first Fiat 500 Abarth from NSR. I do like me some NSR cars, of course. This car is not immediately a car that would jump out at you that NSR would do as a slot car. It's a tiny car in real life. It's really small, of course, and there must be some personal connection. I don't know what it is, but anyway, there you go. I got this one from LEB. Thank you very much to LEB. I got this one as a sidewinder. Of course, it comes as an anglewinder too, just like pretty much everything else from NSR. Definitely, I mean, I just got my Fiat. I don't have a Abarth. I have a Sport 500. The shapes on this look really, really good, obviously, except the body hook there in the back. Yeah, so I mean, they really nailed the Fiat shape of the car, and I think they've done a great job. I know these cars are raced in a Fiat series, and I don't know. It's a fun little car. Let's do some, let's get it open. Let's take a look inside of this little guy and see what we got. I think nothing terribly surprising. And we'll do some quick laps with it. So let's open this guy up now. Yes, this is a little peg that sticks through the back and kind of clips the back of the body onto the chassis. 2 body screws in the front, none in the rear. I really like that idea. I don't mind the little tab poking out there. I know, I mean, maybe they could have put body screws back there, but frankly, I think this is perfect. So this is a side angle winder. It's a little bit of a canted angle, as you can see. I mean, technically is a sidewinder before anybody starts freaking out at me about it. Anyway, not a whole lot going on here, just kind of like I expected. Gonna pull ye olde button magnet out, do some laps with this guy, and gonna get me a little more side-to-side play on here. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, these wheels, the inserts do look okay. There are plenty of Fiats that have wheels that look like this. I personally, just like on my real car, might change these to like a 5-spoke wheel. I saw someone else had a kind of a mini light wheel online. I think it was John Albright, maybe, did kind of a redo on his Fiat online. Anyway, yeah, pod looks really good. Gears look like they mesh really well. They feel fantastic, of course. And what else do we have here? We have one screw that is holding in the motor. That's very cool. Like that. Always like to see a screw holding the motor in the pod. There we go. So let's put the body back on this little guy and do a couple laps with it. So an interesting thing about this little tab that retains the rear of the chassis, when you screw the body screws in right there and right there, you can't really get any forward. The rattle is not really there even still. Even when these screws are loose, the body doesn't really rattle. It really does kind of hold it tightly, which I'm not a big fan of that. I do like when I loosen the body screws up to have the chassis be able to float. So the float in this car is definitely going to be done by the pod only. And you really can't get much, body movement, chassis movement by loosening the screws in this, which honestly I'm not a big fan of that, but we'll see. I haven't gotten this on the track even yet. So and obviously the tires on the rear definitely feel nice and sticky, so hopefully we get some good grip. I'm expecting that we will. So let's get this guy actually going now. So it feels like I had the body a little too loose, and I think it was rubbing on this back tire, or the body was rubbing just a tiny little bit on the back there. Okay, so for sure the the body was rubbing just a tiny bit on this wheel back here. So I tightened down the body screws in the front, and so the pod, or rather the whole chassis, is fixed in place now. It looks like when I screwed these in, I guess I screwed the body screws in at an angle, and that pushed the whole chassis back a little bit. Since there's no body screws in the back of the chassis, you're kind of relying on the front screws to get the chassis, I guess, kind of centered where the body should be on the chassis. So now I got those screws in the right place, tighten them down so the body is tight, and there's only just a minimal amount of movement. Well, more than a minimal amount. There's some movement in the pod. Actually, there's quite a bit of movement in the pod, side to side, and yeah, just kind of all the way around float. And curled the braids down a little bit because I got the body away from the back of the tire, I should say, back away from the back of the body. Now it definitely feels a little faster, which of course it should. And because I think this car has it's a fairly high center of gravity, this has a tendency to tip rather than slide. So this car, because it's got so much grip, will definitely benefit from being on the Policar track. And even if the track is a little dirty, it, I think, will help it, because this car, it really, kind of like a real Fiat. I've seen lots of races where these things kind of tip up, go on three wheels. Yeah, well, it definitely performs well, but it definitely, I think it's going to be a little bit of tuning, a little less forgiving probably than some of the other NSRs, but I mean, that would be a given because it's such a tiny car, and because it's so narrow, and because there's so much weight so high. It is nice to see this going around the track. I do enjoy that. So I think this would be would it be a good for a club recommendation? I think it would. Definitely you're going to want to do some tuning to this car, like the McLaren. You know, this is a car you can throw at the track. The thing is going to be absolutely stunning right out of the box, basically. This one you're going to have to do a little more tuning to, I think. But I definitely think if you had a couple of these on the track at the same time, I think it would be a pretty entertaining race. And for me anyway, the 21.5 Shark that's in this car makes perfect sense. Gonna do another couple laps, I think, with this little guy. Gonna finish this up outside here where you can hear the crows in the background and my car, my new car. Well, not new to me. Anyway, so this car it's definitely really fun. I really like the shapes. Like I said, I really do think they nailed it. Is it for everybody? I really don't think so. Is this car for you if you like little cars? I really do think so. I know that the Fiats and Minis and little European sports cars, modern European sports cars, are really not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I really like them. I think they're a lot of fun. I really do like this little car, and I do think it would be really cool to do this. It'd definitely be a challenging series to have these as slot cars, have these at your club and race them. I think it would be a lot of fun. There's a lot of good stuff going on this car. It's definitely a tuner's car. Definitely for someone that likes to fiddle. It is not a car you're going to throw at the track and you're going to be the fastest world beater kind of a car out there. You do have to drive it. Absolutely recommended, but recommended for somebody that really does want to tune. Not, you know, if you're a guy that just wants to take a car out of the box, throw it at the track, and expect it to be perfect, you know, this might be a little more of a challenge for you. Anyway, thanks very much to LEB, as usual, for their support, and see you all next time.